Hi guys, Zero here with
Wizworld 100.
and we've got a vlog review of a good movie.
Yes, if you saw the other video, and if not, then we'll talk about this one.
We'll see which one I post first, right?
Yeah.
But we went to see The Hobbit in 3D.
This was also your first 3D movie.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna comment on the 3D real quick. I like the 3D. Wearing glasses with it never bothered me. I compare it to the other 3D I've been
told.
Well, no, I've experienced is the 3DS. With this, doesn't matter where you move your head, you don't lose the effect, which I like. If that's what 3D TVs are like, that's good, but I don't know yet. Like, I don't have any complaints about wearing glasses, and it looks really good. Like, the thing is, though, it wasn't necessary for most of the movie. Mostly towards the end, when stuff was flying at you really fast, that's when it was the best. But most of the time, it's a little bit off the screen. Okay. Also, I have to mention that, like, after the first hour of the movie, I started getting, like, a headache right here. Just a small, tiny one, nothing big. But I realized what was happening is because my eyes had to readjust in the middle of watching it because
at one point it even affected me because some of the characters got really close, or the background got really blurry, or something blurry was in front of you while something sharp was in the
also
back.
I was constantly taking my glasses off to see what the scene looked like without it. It's really blurry, but it's two things together.
You can watch this movie without the 3D.
Yeah, it's
while it's in 3D.
The only parts of that are worth it for 3D I say later on when they really start throwing shit at your face. Which looked really good, which is how 3D should be done. Like Friday the 13th Part 3D, which I've never seen in 3D and I want to, because that entire movie's shit thrown in your face. But yeah, it looks really nice. The only other thing I have to say is, this is me being nitpicky because I'm a video editor. I know to get the 3D to work, they have to do certain things.
Sort of.
I think the technology's still too new because it still has to do frame blending whenever there's motion in the 3D. Like and it also feels like the frame rate is lower whenever there's a 3D shot. So everything that's not like a flat film, it's all one single frame rate. I think when they start putting in 3D elements, each section has their own frame rate to how you're seeing it. Which is a little jarring at first, because I noticed I'm like, that mountain's moving really slowly and jittery, like, compared to everything else. I think...
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Well, also, I really noticed the frame blending. Anytime, the closer somebody got to your face, and the more they were on the screen, like, in motion, the more I noticed the whole... how bad the frame blending was. I think what's going to have to happen is they're going to have to start shooting movies in a higher frame rate so they can lower the frame rate of everything else so it goes right. Because like they have stuff that's in 120 frames per second these days, but you don't see it ever in movies and things because movies are like supposed to be like
24.9.
Like films 24 frames per second or 23.976. I think they need to bump 3D movies up to 30 frames a second so that everything else doesn't look jittery. That's just my opinion. But enough of the 3D. Let's talk.
Oh wait, I didn't get to talk about the 3D because
I was gonna actually ask you because you wear glasses. What was it like wearing glasses on your glasses? Yo, dog, I heard you like glasses.
You know, I wish they had a little clip that clips onto your glasses so that you can wear your glasses.
You could probably buy one from Real 3D.
Yeah, but you know what? It didn't matter. I just put the glasses over my glasses and it worked fine.
It made it look like you had hipster glasses, which was weird seeing you with like hipster glasses.
Oh god, yes.
But how was the 3D effects for you?
Okay, I saw 3D at Avatar 3D, and well, let's just say this is my second time watching a 3D film because if we watched a 2D film, we'd have to wait till 6, which we didn't want to do.
Yeah, it was my fault because I didn't know there was 2 time frames. I never watched a movie in 3D again, so I didn't know. I didn't even think about that. But I mean, I'm kind of glad we did watch it in 3D because it was
it did. And that brings me to my point. Like Zero said, the 3D, it's not needed. It's never needed. But now I'm not going to say the 3D is needed for this movie. But it does enrich the experience. Like, you feel it's really there, like the way you perceive things. And that's what I really like. Like, it wasn't necessary, but it got me a little bit more involved.
It's nice in the action scenes. It's not so good when they're framing a shot and there's like maybe a guy here and a guy here and they're talking, because it just looks like they're zoomed in too much, is what it feels like a lot of the time. But
enough of that. I think the 3D is nice.
Yeah.
Not needed, but it is nice, and it does enrich the movie a little.
Yeah. But it's not. It's like the way I feel about it is like Shinobi on the 3DS.
Oh, I need to play that later.
Like a side scroller in 3D, there's really no point to it. Like for most of the movie, there's no point to it. Only when stuff is coming at you or going away from you does it really matter.
Oh, speaking of which, there were some parts, like, you know when like random stuff popped up in the back, like foliage and stuff. That scared the crap out of me, like, for the wrong reason, because I thought someone was standing up. I was like, oh, wait,
There's actually one moment when they shot something at the screen really fast. I had to close my eyes because I thought it was coming at me. Like,
yeah, because it didn't look like it was from the movie. It was just this dark blob, and it was like, So I guess you could say that was kind of effective, but still,
at this point, I feel it's still a little young for technology. But enough about 3D. Let's talk about the damn movie.
Yes.
So, as everybody knows, it's a prequel to
The Lord of the Rings.
My experience with Lord of the Rings, I'd only seen the director's cut of Fellowship of the Ring once, like 2 years ago, like a 3.5-hour movie. We can watch it at some point, but have you watched any of the Lord of the Rings movies?
Okay, I watched. I've watched all three of them, but the one I remember the most is the Two Towers. Like, if you out of the three, because I remember the first one, they're setting up the whole thing about going to Mordor. Second one, they got to go defend this place from Mordor's or Sauron and the evil people's the evil people setting the army against them. Yeah. Like that, I remember that the most. The third one, I don't remember as much. The war is still going on, and there's a ghost ship, and so forth. So
basically, like it wasn't fresh in our mind when we were thinking about it. Like again, like I have the Lord of the Rings Director's Cut Trilogy DVD box set. The plastic wrap's only off the first one because that's the only one I've seen, and I watched it a couple years ago.
Yeah, and
so
I want to watch the trilogy again.
We might have to watch it. Director's Cut, 4 hours long now.
At least it's not the Godspeed Love Director Cut.
Let's not talk about that anymore.
Yeah.
But
movie.
I like this. I like The Hobbit. It was a really cool movie, and I think it was good that I saw this one before seeing the other ones because it's kind of like a prequel-ish thing.
It is a prequel.
It is a prequel.
If you've read the books, which I didn't, but I played the Hobbit game on Game Boy Advance, which explains well enough that, you know, if you ask me something about the book, I might know enough to, like, tell you things, but not in great detail. Because, let's see. So, this is a prequel to The Lord of the Rings. It's like, how did Frodo get this ring in Fellowship of the Ring? Well, if you read The Hobbit, Bilbo Baggins had the ring. Well, actually, in Fellowship of the Ring, they also showed that, too. But this story is about Bilbo Baggins, which is why it's called The Hobbit. How he ties how he gets Middle Earth together, how he got the ring, and how he met Gandalf, and so forth.
Here's the thing. Like, I didn't when I saw the posters, I'm like, I don't know who that is. And then when they showed the start of the movie, I'm like, oh, Bilbo Baggins, right? He was at the very start of the Fellowship. I'm like, oh, I remember who that guy is. So once I got into it, I understood it. Now, the first thing we should talk about is we were like 2 or 3, maybe 3 minutes late to getting in the movie because of BS, but we're not going to talk about that. That's it.
We didn't miss anything vital.
We basically came in when they were doing the recap on not
a recap, because
not a recap, but basically
what happened 60 years ago with Middle Earth,
and the dwarves and everything,
the elves and the humans.
And all that stuff. So that was basically just getting you up to speed to where we're at, and then
we'll try not to spoil anything because this movie is really good.
Yeah, try a keyword, but and then it goes back to
the Shire.
The Shire, and just before Fellowship took place.
Yes, because you see Frodo in this film, which I was like, oh, I didn't expect that.
I was like, oh, I didn't. Is he actually in the movie? He's only in the start, which is fine because it's for people who have already watched the movies, it's to place them there.
And it's also to, like, remind you, like, oh, Frodo and Bilbo. Because if they just jump right to Bilbo, it's like, who is he again? Because they had a transition where you see old Bilbo Baggins, and it goes to 60 years before then, and he's younger.
And he's still smoking a pipe.
Weed every day.
Weed every day. And then he sort of, the whole story's about him getting wrapped up into this adventure, and
that he didn't want to get into.
Yeah,
because Gandalf was.
He eventually like gets into it, and then the dwarves, trying to get back their homeland, and the entire movie, like it's all dwarves,
trying to
Gandalf and Bilbo, and the leader of the dwarves just doesn't think Bilbo's going to be any use to them.
Oh wait, hang on. Let's talk about what the I know we kind of quickly talked about the gold, but this is what's going on. The dwarves are trying to get back Helm's Deep, or their palace where it's guarded by a dragon. This isn't the spoiler, because in the beginning they said a dragon was locked into like the dwarves. No, not the dwarf place. There was this one place that they're trying to go to for to collect treasure. Damn it! I know people are gonna kill me for this, but they're on an adventure to go to this one place where the dragon is, and they all have different reasons. The dwarves are going there to reclaim their pride, honor, and and their place to live because they had no home.
Yeah.
Bilbo's on an adventure because he gets into it afterwards. Gandalf is going because he sensed the magical evil, which will probably lead into some movies later on. Oh, by the way, Saruman is in this movie too.
Yeah, and I remember you coming over to me and be like, "This is kind of surreal because he's kind of."
No, I was like, "This is pissing me off because we know he's evil."
We know he's evil in 60 years. I'm like, yeah, it's.
I get it, but it's just. I can't help it. It's like when you know this guy's gonna be evil. It's like, then there's nothing you can do because at that time he wasn't.
Yeah.
Although he acts like it.
We should talk about some of the places that they go. Of course they go to.
They travel a lot.
They travel a lot. They go, and they meet. There's quite a few races in this, which is.
Oh yeah, there's a variety of like species: orcs, trolls, goblins.
Goblins, yeah.
Wolves, elves, obviously. Wizards.
We do meet a couple of the wizards, yeah. Not Common Rider wizard, but we do. The thing is, they always get like thrown into the situations. Like it's not like the only time it's like they're actually there to meet with them is when they see the elves. Which what's the place called? Rivendell.
Rivendell.
One of the two.
Something like that. It's something Dale.
I don't know.
It's not Chippendale.
Chippendale Rescue Ranger.
Let's get.
Well, they kind of are rescue rangers because they rescued them from.
Well, yeah, and they are, and archers are called rangers.
Yeah.
But you kind of skip.
Power Range.
You kind of skipped a few things.
Yeah.
Okay, we're probably entering into spoiler territory, but.
The only parts that are shown of the Shire is pretty much in Bilbo's house.
And just a wide establishing shot of like what it looks like. It's basically a hole in the ground with a door.
Which isn't much to show off, but
it shows where he lives, so just in case.
And
it's an establishing shot.
They go through a forest. They meet one of the wizards.
Before that, they end up at this camp where you remember the farmhouse that was destroyed, and Gandalf's like, "We should proceed on to the Hidden Valley and let us be aligned with the elves." And he's like, "No, we're staying here." And then shit starts happening because it's this isn't really much of a spoiler because if you played the game, it
read the book.
Yeah.
To be fair, none of this is really a spoiler. I'll put spoiler alert at the top, like I do with everything.
Yeah.
So.
But anyways, so. The dwarves are like, let's stay here. Gandalf is like, no, something seems wrong here. And then later that night, there are some trolls that took their ponies. And
I guess friendship isn't magic.
So they encounter trolls for in this adventure for their first obstacle. And And do you remember how it went? I'll let you talk about it.
Yeah. First of all, the trolls are really, really dumb. I mean, I know they're trolls and they're supposed to be dumb, but really dumb. They don't see Bilbo the whole time. He's right there. Like, the one guy just literally has to turn his head this way a little bit and he'd see him. Like, just, literally, like, just that. Turn his head maybe 15 degrees to the right or left, whatever side he was on.
Well, the way they're interpreting the trolls here is that they're slow, dumb-witted, and it's just like...
I know they're dumb, but you have to be pretty stupid not to see something from right here.
Well, Bilbo's pretty tiny, don't forget.
That's true,
Hobbit.
but like, I could see, if my cat walks in, I could see the cat from there.
Yeah, I'd probably jump and
like, cause our vision goes to about.
Well, then again,
here.
that's us humans. Mm-hmm. Maybe the trolls have a narrower vision.
Maybe they do, but
you know what? It's folklore.
But
oh yeah, the way they looked, you can tell it's CG.
Mm-hmm.
It has this cartoony feel, but
it looked By the way, the CG in this movie actually looked good. Though.
It looks good. I'm not saying anything bad about it, but it's just
people complain about CG all the time. I honestly have no problem with it. Only when it looks really, really, really bad, like in Godspeed Love.
Well, anyways, but we're not talking about Godspeed Love because God forbid that.
Yeah, but like the trolls looked good.
They represent what they should.
There is a mix. This entire movie is a mixed bag of British or New Zealand accents. I don't know what it is, but probably New Zealand because they're from New Zealand. So, sorry, but New Zealand and England accents sound the same to me. That's just because call me a ignorant Canadian or whatever, but that's what it sounds like to me. So it sounds British, New Zealand. Everything's like that, but that makes sense because that's where the movie was made, and it's old school medieval folklore, and everybody was British or whatever back then.
Going back
but
to the...
it's funny though because they gave like the orcs like this sort of like Cockney style, or not orcs. The trolls is Cockney style, which made them gave personality to the fact that they're dumb
and that they're trolls.
I'd be like, "Hello, love, look at this. I'll just give this a little bit of seasoning now."
What does the little thieving bobbit? Bobbit. Anyway,
Bobbit.
Anyways, going back to the trolls. So the trolls capture the dwarves and Bilbo, and so Bilbo proves his worth here by tricking the trolls, or not tricking, delaying the trolls and giving Gandalf enough time to break this rock so that sun shines on the trolls, and then the trolls turn to rock.
You shall not pass daylight savings time.
Actually, I forget, in the Fellowship of the Ring, I wonder is there a scene where they meet, like, these stone trolls? Because that was supposed to be a precursor. That was supposed to be a reference to The Hobbit.
I don't know. We'll have to take a look when we watch the movie.
Yeah, because in the game, they were there, and I was like, oh, really cool.
I also like how when they found the troll, they beat the trolls, they found their lair, and they found all these, like, elf weapons and stuff.
Yes. That was relevant. It wasn't just like, oh, we found the troll. It was to get Bilbo to get his weapon, the Sting, which he then passes on to Frodo in Fellowship of the Ring. So that's the story of where we got his weapon.
The Sting is really cool, by the way.
Yeah, it glows blue when when a goblin, orc, when those two things appear. Let's just say danger appears.
It looks like a strong weapon too, even though it's a short sword.
Well, did you see him fight with it? He didn't.
Yeah, he did.
He didn't kill everything with it, but it was a weapon for him. He would have died without it.
But basically, like once they find these, the entire group gets like decked out with like these really good like elvish made.
Well, specifically 3 of them, because the rest were just after the money. Remember?
Yeah, that's what made me like. Because at first they showed the one guy fighting off the main villain in the explanation, but he didn't beat him.
Oh, you mean Kratos?
No, the leader of the
orcs. I know, but he looks like
yeah.
But he looks like Kratos says he's an albino orc.
But and then like I'm like, oh, he's got an elvish sword. Next time they fight, it's gonna be intense because he's got a much better sword. Because I like basically you're like I don't know if this is true, but basically you're told through this movie, elvish weapons are like the best because they can be enchanted. They have
the best crafted weapon. They're
finely crafted and they're specialized. So when
they're in the goblin lair, one goblin took the sword and I was like,
like
it's
took
a
it,
goblin
and it was
slayer.
a goblin slayer, and like
They
an orc.
freaked out.
An orc is basically just a bigger goblin, like a giant goblin.
I suppose.
Evolved goblin. So, like, and an orc is their enemy. Like, I'm not gonna say who it is, but an orc is their enemy, and having the sword probably gives him an advantage. Like, I mean, it's just equipment, so it's like, yeah, man, I got an ogre slaying knife. It's got a +9 against ogres. It's like
it's a famous sword.
It's
among elves.
It's a famous sword, and everything they found was a famous sword. Like Gandalf gets a sword, and it was like a famous sword. And
that brings me one thing. Gandalf just kind of picks it up and doesn't, and is like just, for some reason, I get the feeling this might be a really good weapon.
Well, no, they showed it. Like the thing is, he shows some of the swords they show to.
Yeah, later on. But what if?
No. Beforehand, when they're in the cave, what's his name? When they're looking at the swords, he shows the head of the dwarves. He's like, this doesn't look like a.
It doesn't look like a weapon made by. Oh, right.
Like man, and then that's how they're like, maybe we should take these. Like.
Actually, Gandalf suggested it because he knew they were going to go to Riverdale, and that
they didn't want to go, but they had to go, pretty much.
He tries to get them in there, and Gandalf tricked them into going there because they had to escape from the orcs that were chasing them, and they fell down went into this hole that led to them, and they had no choice. So
yeah, but
Gandalf has this planned.
Like they eventually hit a forest.
Okay, after the troll.
Yeah, I think they go to the forest and they.
Don't forget the brown mage. And before then,
which sounds hilarious.
Brown mage sounds like shit.
Funny thing is, he has shit in his hair. He has bird shit in his hair because his hair's a bird's nest.
Yeah. Somewhere before the scene, it was showing like because Gandalf was talking about, or Bilbo was asking Gandalf like, do you know any other wizards? And Gandalf's like, oh yes, there's this wizard, that wizard, and then we see one of the wizards, the brown one, who's in love with nature and smokes mushrooms.
He's moving around because something is disrupting the animals
and the nature around there, and it's causing evil to appear. So
yeah, he actually gets something to suck the evil out of, like a gerbil or a hedgehog.
A hedgehog, Sanic.
Yeah, Sanic. He was going to become Shadow, but he turned into Sanic.
He was going to become dark and edgy. But basically, so he sees something's wrong, and he goes to look for Gandalf. And after the cave scene, because Gandalf also noticed something was weird, because the trolls originally lived somewhere really high north, and for some reason they're down south. So Gandalf's like, something is wrong. Then the brown mage comes out and is like, there's a necromancer resurrecting these things. And like Gandalf's like, no way. So shows the sword, is like, oh shit.
Yeah. So
then Gandalf tries to get the dwarves to go to Riverdale to get help from the elves, or let them know.
Well, they have to read the thing anyway.
Oh yeah.
There's only they're the only society that has somebody who can read that. So
yeah, that's right. And conveniently, we'll let that slide. That it's conveniently on the same day that they can read it. So.
But yeah, and isn't it like they get to the forest? They talk to the brown wizard, and then that's when they start getting attacked by.
They get getting chased by the orcs. Oh,
and one of the best parts of the movie. I'll let you say it.
It looks funny, but it looks so cool. The brown mage has, you know, the dog sleds they have in Antarctica and the huskies. This brown mage has bunny hairs as the dog pulleys.
He has a bunny sled. It sounds dumb, but it outruns fucking like
the wolves.
Like they're not like werewolf. They're not like wolf. They're like some kind of weird wolf.
They're like
thing.
some canine.
Wolf.
We'll call them canine because that.
Whatever. We'll just call them wolves because that's what they sort of are. They're like mutated wolves or whatever. They're like dark wolves. I don't know. So like this thing outruns these things easy. Like you think rabbits and hares like cute little bunnies, like. They're cute, but apparently these things are really fucking fast.
Oh, they have to, or else they won't survive running away from a predator. So this is normal, but I just was not expecting that. That looks so dumb, but so cool. Like, I want one.
Like, I was watching it, and there's so many times I'm like, oh shit, he's gonna get caught. But no, he, like, completely outruns them. And I like how the brown mage is so confident, like, let's see if they can catch me. It's just like, oh, this is gonna be good. We're gonna watch wolves get their ass kicked in.
Oh, I love that scene so much. I was gonna cry with awesome. You kind of missed one scene where like the bunnies were like communicating with each other, like they did the thumping and like, get ready guys, let's go.
Yeah, I went to the bathroom at one point.
So anyway, after the troll cave, the orcs are right behind them, and Gandalf's like, we must run away. The brown mage says, I'll lead them away. Gandalf's like, no, you're not fast enough. Those wolves are really fast. And it's like, let me try. And the coolest chase
they can catch. Yeah, and then like they're basically how that scene works is they're all he's being a distraction and running away from them in the bunny sled, and they're all in like this little middle section hiding.
And
in,
the
like,
dwarves and Gandalf, like the group.
Yeah, the group. They're hiding from some of the hills from the orcs. One of them notices it. And it smells like dwarf. So they get noticed and they kill the guy. But then the other ones are like, shit, our buddy's dead.
Or no, they hear him dying. And it's like, wait a minute, what's going on over there? This was a diversion. Go.
They don't. Like, some of them see them and some of them don't. Like, it's weird how the distances are working in this.
And also, the thing that kind of bothered me is, like, whenever the bunny sled led the wolves away, the dwarves are also in the same time. They're like, oh, shit, that way. And it's like, the same thing. I was like, oh, stop, go, hide.
There's so much disorientation.
It's like, come on. Are you leading them away or just goofing off? And then the brown mage disappears forever after they get discovered. Like, where did he go now?
Off into the sunset on his bunny sled.
Dun 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 dun.
Bum ba dun 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 dun.
Back to the movie.
And so they fall in. They all go into this.
They get surrounded, and it's like, oh, we're so screwed. Where's Gandalf? He betrayed us. Over here, you fools.
Yeah, pretty much. Get in the hole, you fools. Oh,
yeah,
that's what she said.
There was a secret passage that they conveniently were near.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sure
Gandalf's a crafty.
I'm sure Gandalf has all this planned because like, it's like I don't think he.
And so they get away, but to make sure they make their getaway, some elves come in and just bow the shit out of the.
Because they're in the elf territory, so they died.
Get the property off my foot.
You said that during the movie, so get the property.
I did that during driving.
Oh yeah,
that's what I did. So they go into the hole, and then they're in Rivendell. And, of course, the Vikings are pissed because...
The Vikings?
They look like... Whatever. The dwarves are pissed because back in the thing at the start, the elves are supposed to be their allies, but they do nothing to help them. They show up, they take one look at the battle, and they're like...
They leave because
it's not our fight. Bye.
They didn't want to sacrifice their troops for it. So, so the prince of the prince of all dwarves is pissed at them.
He's pissed. He doesn't trust any of them because... Like, how are they supposed to help them when they double-cross them? They never bring it up. Like, the elves never bring up, like, why they left. Like,
yeah, like, what if it's like...
like, somebody said, like, oh, it wasn't our fight. They said, oh, the elves said it wasn't their fight, but they never brought it up. Like, I wanted to see the interaction between
that's
the prince and the elf guy to say,
why'd you do this?
Why do you help me now when 60 years ago you didn't lend me
or during that battle.
Yeah.
Oh, but you know what? That brings up a good point. So you know how the humans were like, elves, help us, right? So before that battle, they must have negotiated with the elves, like, to come help them. So surely they can't just say it's not our battle.
Well, the elves my thought is they had cold feet, but they thought, well, they're our allies, we should show up. But right at the last second, they're like,
chicken out.
They're like, we can't do this. This isn't our fight. We're gonna get our people involved in something that's not this.
Not worth it.
It's not worth the
sacrifices.
The sacrifice. So we're out.
I have a feeling that there's going to be an explanation saying like you know how the orcs were attacking like the dwarves king. Like I'm thinking that the orcs were also attacking the elf kingdom, and if they help with this fight, they wouldn't be able to go back to save their kingdom. So I'm thinking there might be a twist of like we had to leave because like we had to do something. We had to save our homeland. Like sorry. So something like sir, our shire is being attacked. It's like, but we must help our human allies. If we help them, we will lose our kingdom.
They're not humans, they're Vikings.
Oh, the Vikings?
No, dwarves. Whatever.
I was talking about the elves and like why they left, but that's just what I think.
But yeah, it's just ironic that they never brought it up. Anyways,
maybe I'll explain in a second.
Yeah, They get to a part where they get in and they read the map and they look at all the swords, so they can identify which swords they are.
Well, specifically two.
Mm-hmm. And then, what's his name shows up?
Someone shows up.
What's his name? The mage guy, the high wizard guy.
Oh, Sauron.
Yeah, Sauron.
Played by Count Dooku.
And that's where that moment you're like, this is infuriating because I know he's an asshole.
Yeah,
basically. The thing was, the whole time he was an asshole too. Every time Gandalf said something, no,
that's
not logical.
I am the high mighty wizard that sees all, but I don't see this little evil thing. Maybe I'm trying to support this for the revival of the evil in the next 3 films. It's just so basically he's there because they caught Gandalf doing stuff, and like Sauron objects to this. Actually, no, is Sauron the Eye or Saruman was
Saruman, I think. I don't know. Anyways, this old bastard played by Christopher Lee pretty much like doesn't agree with anything that's being said. So,
and trying to stop him.
Hat elf bitch has to like talk to Gandalf through mind. And like I think it's funny because the guy doesn't even realize he's not paying attention to him.
I know. I'm like,
hey, pay attention to me. I'm talking here. Hello. Oh, sorry.
Like what?
I have brain call waiting.
Like what was Saruman doing? Was he looking at the table like, "Oh, you know, Gandalf, you shouldn't do this. I mean, it's just I don't see how this is evil. It's impossible for this thing." It's like
exactly.
And like Gandalf is like looking to the side like this, like.
Are you even listening? Yeah.
It's just that part's a little hard to believe.
But then we find out the dwarves are gone.
Yeah, and the lady like supports what Gandalf's doing, and it's like, I believe you.
If you ever need my help, you know where I am.
No, if you ever need my help, I will come.
She's like Spider-Man. Everybody gets one.
And then she's supposed to be like. How old is she? She's like the same age as Gandalf, but she stayed young, youthfully.
I think it's because she's an elf.
And she eats vegetables and goes to sleep at night.
Yeah, that's weird because the elves eat mostly vegetables.
And the dwarves are objective about it.
The dwarves are like, what the fuck is this shit?
We want meat!
Where's that meat?
Okay, yeah. so then we skip to the dwarves leaving Riverdale and going through this rocky valley, which kind of already spells doom because it's so narrow and like only one by one. Then a pretty cool scene happens.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that?
Wait, what scene happened? I forget.
When they're in the valley and then these golems appear.
Right, and the golems appear and they're just sort of like.
I was like, this is such a funny.
It's you know what it reminds me of?
Monster battle.
The first AVGN versus Nostalgia Critic fight where it's all in slow motion.
Well, they're giants and they're trying to emphasize they're ginormous.
That's what it reminded me of, though. I couldn't get that out of my head. I'm like, oh, like I just remembered.
It looked really sweet as like a scene. Like, oh my god, fuck! It's like Godzilla.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, but it's like.
What
was the point of it?
Are they in the Valley of the Giants? Because you know, if that in that case, or maybe it's like the elf that comes in. It's like the dwarves are gone. Where? To the Valley of the Giants. And then
Nani?
Because then that would make sense. Because they never said it. They just said they were gone. They never said where they gone to.
Yeah.
And so when the Giants came on, I was like, cool scene, bro. But what's the point?
Yeah.
Aside from the fact that they drop into the. Oh no, they go into this. Goblin cave trap. Oh, by the way, there's a part where like half of them get crushed into the rocks and they survive.
Yeah, I didn't understand that.
That part, I was like,
that scene was so disorienting to me. Like I didn't know who was where.
Other than that, the prince and Bilbo are not together.
Yeah, that's the only thing I knew. Like I didn't know where anybody else was. I mean, I know they're basically side characters, but it's kind of disorienting when I don't know who's where.
Not too much, but just enough. But yeah, that scene where they got crushed and they survived, I was like, a little bit unbelievable. Because like, if it was anything else, they would have died.
And then, like, they find the cave, but before that, the dwarf prince basically says to Bilbo that
You suck.
He's not needed. That this isn't.
You're homesick. It's not your life.
And then Bilbo takes that pretty hard, and he gets ready to go because
he's right.
He's right. And then he sort of says like, I'm not like you guys. I have a home. You guys don't. Oh,
shit. Oops. And then they fall into the trap.
And then, oh, what? Your sword's glowing. Bleep. Ah! And they fall into...
The sword glowing looks cool, but whenever it shines, it means bad stuff's gonna happen.
Fuck.
So they fall into the goblin's lair, and they capture all the dwarves except for Bilbo, because
Bilbo's not a dwarf.
He's so small that the goblins don't notice him.
Then one goblin finds him and he fights him off and they fall down a hole.
Which this leads to how Bilbo got the ring, because guess who's in this movie?
What's his name?
Smeagol.
Smeagol or Gollum?
Yeah, Gollum.
Kind of the same
they are the same one. It's just it's the two personality that's in his head.
And so Gollum finds and eats like one of the goblins. And what is Gollum anyways? Is he a human?
If you watch the third Lord of the Rings movie, he was originally a hobbit that went crazy.
Oh, okay.
From the ring's power, because it's like,
yeah. So basically, he finds him and starts talking to him, and they play a game. The thing is, like, he's insane. He's insane. He's kind of vicious, but some of some of his faces were kind of adorable.
It's the big round eyes.
It's like
that was one of the better CGs. Like, it looks like he was actually there.
Like, yeah, at this part, it's like I'm not a big fan of Gollum, so it's just like, oh, here we go, this Gollum stuff. But I actually liked it. I actually liked the scene. So,
yeah, it's where Bilbo tricks Gollum into just letting him go, and right after he steals, he picks up the ring.
Like, just before that, he picks up the ring and then heads out. And how he gets over them, he's like, I kill him now. No.
But he remembers Gandalf's word. Oh yeah, early on in the when Gandalf gave him the sword, he's like, courage is to know when to let someone live.
And also, what's his name? Gollum looked pretty helpless there. Like, he knew he was there somehow.
Yeah, like, because Gollum, in the Lord of the Rings movie, he has this, he kind of, like, after wearing the ring for so long, he kind of has this sixth sense for it. Kind of, but not that early on.
Yeah. And then he gets kicked in the face.
Ugh! I know. And then, you remember the thing I brought up? Like, if Gollum looks like this, 60 years later, he still looks like this in the other movies. Mm-hmm. So I was like,
maybe using the ring makes it so that you live longer, or
no, you'd attract the Death Stalkers, and they'd come and like rip your head off.
Yeah.
So but before that, like in between the scene, the dwarves are captured by the Goblin King, and they're about to be sacrificed to the orc, Kratos, and then Gandalf shows up, and a pretty cool chase scene escape pops up. Pretty sweet.
So, it's funny, because as soon as they get away from the orcs, as soon as they get away from the goblins, the orcs show up.
Yeah, because the goblin was like, send a message to the orc, we have his head. And they were on their way, so it makes sense.
So it's like, out of the frying pan, into the fire.
I was like, that joke is so modern, but it makes sense, because
they still use frying pans.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, that's so modern, but I'm willing to believe it.
Yeah, I was like, if they used into the kitchen, I'd be like, that's going a little far. I know hobbits have kitchens, but
they don't use it. They don't call it a kitchen.
It's a food place. But no, so they.
Oh wait, do they?
No. The final battle of the movie happens.
Or the climax.
Pretty much.
I wouldn't say final battle, because obviously there's a part 2 of this.
No, but yeah, so they have their fight.
Well, first they were trying to run away from the orcs, and they had to climb up, and they climbed up trees.
Because they're hyena/wolf things.
Yep. Can't get them. And then Gandalf starts throwing out the fire grenades. Acorn.
Yeah. They're basically holding on to the last tree.
To survive.
On top of a cliffside. So here's the tree. It's going like this.
They're at a dead end.
Or
not dead end, a cliff hanger.
cliffhanger. That's funny.
I know this movie ends on a
but
cliffhanger.
and then it comes through, and then what's his name? Prince guy comes through, and he's like, "I'm gonna fight him now."
For some reason of pride. I mean, I know he hates him and he wants to see him die, but that was kind of just a little big-headed of him.
So he goes. It doesn't go well.
Yep.
Because he's on his mount. So
and then
luckily, like Bilbo comes in and stabbity stab.
Well, there was the albino orc was like give me his head. I couldn't possibly do it myself. And then like Bilbo like decides to be a hero and knocks and kills the other orc that was about to dehead the dwarf prince.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they get rallied up and then they fight back. But eventually they had to back off when the eagles came.
Yeah. Yeah, eagles came and were badass and scooped everybody up.
Oh, that was so sweet. That was so cool.
Like at first I was like, are they helping them or are they just like there to eat?
If you saw the third movie, Gandalf summons eagles to help. So when I saw it, I was like, oh,
also,
yeah.
one of the best effects happened at this point. Like when they're running away from the goblins, there's a really quick shot of stuff coming at you. That looked really cool. The fire, there's a couple of fire shots when they're fighting that were good. And the little moth was really good. I really liked that shot. What did you think of the moth?
When Gandalf was like, oh, please get some help.
And the moth was like right in your face. What do you think of that?
That
looked really good to me.
There were also scenes like, going back to the Brown Mage, there were scenes where he was talking with a bird and the bird was kind of hovering towards us through a camera and like, it looked nice.
Yeah. Like, those were really nice shots. And, so yeah, the birds come and,
they drop him off at a safe mountain place.
Yeah.
And it also has, that brings up one thing. Why didn't they ride it all the way to the destination?
Maybe because they can't get close because the dragon's there?
Good point. Yeah, it's kind of like the thing where people talk about, like, why would the Lord of the Rings happen if Gandalf just summoned the eagles and they dropped the ring into Mordor? So it's kind of like that thing. And I know, but that would really cheapen the movie. So,
well, basically, they're on that cliffside, and they're looking. They're like, "We're almost there." And then it cuts to
they see the dwarf mountain. Ah, yes, the dwarf mountain. That's what they're trying to take back. That's right.
And there's riches upon riches everywhere, and then all of a sudden, zooms in on an eye.
No, well, there was a nose first. Like something blows out, and then slowly reveals the dragon.
Eye and movie.
What do you think of that cliffhanger?
Well, the movie was getting really long. This movie was like 3 hours.
Yeah, I was like, oh, is this movie gonna cover the entire thing? Is it gonna end? Like, I like this movie, but this is really long. This is like, I'm not gonna say
that's the thing with Lord of the Rings that I know they're big books and they have to cover everything, or mostly everything. But could they cut it? Like, did they really have to cut there? I mean, I understand, like, it's going to make the next part 2, or whatever, the Hobbit Part 2, I guess, or whatever they call it, it's going to make it a lot better, but these days, Part 2s of movies, like, just kind of piss me off. It's like, just do the whole movie at once.
Well, actually, Peter Jackson, like, when he directed The Lord of the Rings, he directed all 3 movies at the same time. And then he cut them into 3 parts, so that's what he did. He didn't film one, go on vacation, then film the other one. No, he did all 3 at the same time. So
we filmed them all at the same time and then cut them over.
Yeah, so they probably already have The Hobbit 2 done. It's just now they need to edit it and the stuff. But for now, they're giving you a part of it. And also about how it ended. 2 things. The first thing was I was like, shit, this story is about to end because they're almost close to the dragon. I was like 45 more minutes in and it would have been over. But then, where else could they have ended a cliffhanger? Because if they ended anywhere in, like, before that part, it would have just looked at kind of sloppy.
Is the fight with the dragon all that's left from the game's perspective?
From the game's perspective, you have to get the elves to help you and the humans to help to fight the orcs and the dragon.
So the next movie will probably be 3 hours again.
Yeah, probably.
So it's like they're right there, but they gotta do other stuff. So, well, I'm looking forward to seeing it. Like, normally I'm not a fan of cutting movies in half like that, but this is a really long story, so that's fine. I liked the movie. I thought it was really good. this comes from the perspective of somebody who doesn't really know that much about Lord of the Rings. Like I said, I watched one of the movies a couple years ago, and I haven't caught up with it since. Just because I think the other thing is because they're such long movies, you have to dedicate a big chunk of time to them. So, I want to watch the other movies now that I've seen this one, and I can't wait to see the part 2 that happens for this.
Yeah, it was. There's probably going to be critics that are going to point out all these little things, but you know what? I don't. But you know what? I went into this movie to have fun because I wanted to watch it, and I got it, and it was great. It was fantastic. It was directed well. The action scenes, like it's not like action, then talking. No, it flows very nicely. Like I like
nice,
it.
yeah.
I liked it. Every single second of it, I felt was not wasted. When it felt like a 3-hour movie, and it was a 3-hour movie. And so,
but it was paced really well. Like there was a time I'm like, holy crap, this movie's really long, but
you still like retain some sense of time. Like it wasn't like this 2-hour movie felt longer than it should.
But yeah, it was a good movie. I
And
recommend seeing it, even if you're not. If this is a great way to start off Lord of the Rings.
I have to agree. Like, even if you're not a fan, and if you're a fan, you're already watching. You don't need us telling you. And but for those who are looking for a movie to watch, go watch The Hobbit. And if I was to have a top 10 list of movies this year, The Hobbit is somewhere on that. That's how good it is. So go watch it.
Yeah. Well, anything else to say?
Other than I'm excited to watch the trilogy.
Yeah. So, thanks for watching, guys. We're gonna watch Fellowship of the Ring again.
Yes, I'm so excited. Are you
Maybe
excited?
Yeah, I'm excited. Maybe do another video. I don't know.
No, not really. I mean, it's not anything new. Unless we will. We'll see.
We'll see.
Let's just
Anyways,
enjoy ourselves.
Take it easy, guys.
Stay tuned.